A Love Beneath Spanish Skies by Clara Winslow. The sun hung low over the horizon, casting long golden rays across the sprawling vineyards of La Rioja. Isabel Martinez adjusted the wide brim of her straw hat, the warm breeze carrying the scent of ripe grapes and wildflowers. She had spent her entire life in this valley, helping her family cultivate the wine that had earned their name respect across Spain. But as much as she loved the land, Isabel longed for something more, a spark, an adventure, a story worth telling. Isabel, her younger brother Mateo, called from the edge of the vineyard. "The new buyer has arrived. Father wants you to meet him." With a sigh, Isabel set her basket of grapes on the ground and dusted off her skirt. As the eldest daughter, she often served as the family's diplomat, smoothing over business dealings with charm and tact. But today she dreaded another dull conversation about wine prices and distribution contracts. She arrived at the estate's courtyard just as a tall figure dismounted a black Andalusian horse. The man wore a crisp white shirt and dark trousers, his boots polished to a mirror shine. His olive skin and dark hair suggested he was a local, but the tailored cut of his clothing hinted at wealth and sophistication. He turned, and Isabel found herself caught in the piercing gaze of his hazel eyes. "Senorita Martinez?" His voice was deep and smooth, like the finest Tempranillo. "I am Alejandro Morales. It's a pleasure to finally meet you." Isabel extended her hand, her pulse quickening. "The pleasure is mine, Senor Morales. Welcome to our vineyard." Alejandro's reputation had preceded him. A wealthy merchant from Barcelona, he had recently begun investing in regional vineyards, seeking to export Spanish wines to markets across Europe. His presence in La Rioja was both an opportunity and a threat. Families like the Martinezes worried about losing their independence to outside interests. Isabel escorted Alejandro through the estate, pointing out the historic cellar and the ancient grape press her ancestors had used. He listened intently, asking thoughtful questions that revealed both his knowledge and his respect for tradition. Unlike other buyers who only cared about profits, Alejandro seemed genuinely interested in the artistry of winemaking. By the time they reached the vineyard's highest hill, the sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Alejandro paused, gazing out over the valley. "You're lucky to call this place home," he said. "It's beautiful." Isabel nodded, her heart softening. "It is, but beauty alone can't sustain a family. We work hard to preserve this land and its legacy." Alejandro turned to her, a hint of admiration in his eyes. "You speak with such passion. It's rare to find someone so devoted to their heritage." Isabel felt her cheeks warm under his gaze. "And what about you, Senor Morales? Why leave the comforts of Barcelona to wander among the vineyards?" He smiled, a boyish grin that transformed his serious demeanor. "Perhaps I'm searching for something too." Over the next few days, Alejandro's presence became a fixture at the vineyard. He joined the family for meals, where his charm quickly won over Mateo, and even their stern father, Don Rafael. Alejandro's vision for expanding the vineyard's reach impressed Don Rafael, who began to see him as a potential ally rather than a competitor. Isabel, however, remained wary. Alejandro's ambitions were grand, but she feared they might come at the cost of their autonomy. She confronted him one evening as they strolled through the vineyard under a canopy of stars. "You've captivated my father with your plans," she said, her tone guarded. "But I need to know, are you here to help us or to take over?" Alejandro stopped, his expression serious. "Isabel, I understand your concern. My goal is not to take anything from your family, but to help you thrive. I see the potential in your wine, and I want the world to taste it. But only with your blessing." His sincerity disarmed her, and for the first time, Isabel allowed herself to trust him. "Then let's make it a partnership," she said, extending her hand. "On equal terms." Alejandro took her hand, his touch warm and firm. "Agreed." As the weeks passed, their professional collaboration deepened into something more. Alejandro often sought Isabel's opinion on his plans, valuing her insight and expertise. In turn, Isabel found herself drawn to his intellect, his humor, and the way he treated her with genuine respect. One afternoon, as they walked through the vineyard, Alejandro surprised Isabel with a question. "Have you ever thought about leaving La Rioja? Traveling? Seeing the world?" She hesitated. "I've dreamed of it, but my duty is here. My family needs me." "Sometimes," Alejandro said, "we must follow our own path, even if it takes us away from the familiar." His words lingered with her long after he'd gone. She began to wonder if her life could hold more than the vineyard, if she could find happiness beyond the boundaries of her family's land. Not everyone welcomed Alejandro's influence. Local rivals accused the Martinezes of selling out, and even within the family, tensions arose. One evening, Don Rafael confronted Isabel, accusing her of letting her feelings cloud her judgment. This partnership is dangerous, he warned. Alejandro may seem honorable, but he's still an outsider. Isabel stood her ground. Father Alejandro respects our traditions and wants to help us succeed. We can't cling to the past if it means losing everything. Her resolve impressed Don Rafael, though he remained skeptical. Isabel knew she had to prove that their partnership could benefit everyone. With Alejandro's help, the Vineyard hosted a grand harvest festival, inviting buyers and connoisseurs from across Spain. The event was a resounding success, showcasing the vineyard's finest wines and securing lucrative deals that ensured the family's future. On the final night of the festival, Alejandro found Isabel standing alone under the stars. "You've done something extraordinary," he said. "Your vision and leadership have saved this vineyard." She turned to him, her heart full. "I couldn't have done it without you." Alejandro stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. "Isabel, I came here looking for a business opportunity. But I found something far more valuable. I found you." Tears welled in her eyes as he took her hands. "I love you, Isabel. Will you join me on this journey wherever it takes us?" She smiled through her tears, her heart swelling with joy. "Yes, Alejandro, I will." As they embraced, the vineyard's future seemed as bright as the Spanish sun. Together they would build a legacy that honored the past while embracing the promise of tomorrow. And for the first time, Isabel felt that her life was no longer confined to the valley. It was as vast and limitless as the horizon.